Welcome back to my channel. My name is Charlene Randall, and today we're talking about a DC squatter. So imagine you purchase a real estate investment property to have as an Airbnb, and the person who you rent the Airbnb to now does not want to leave and wants to squat in this home. And basically, you can't do nothing about it. So that's what happened with this woman. She, in fact, had a real estate investment property she was using for an Airbnb, and this woman just would not leave. So let's look at the video and hear more about what actually happened.
All of the responsibilities are on me and I can't get into my property. There's a leak in the property. The water bill is escalating. I can't get in there to see what's going on.
A DC homeowner claiming an Airbnb guest has overstayed their welcome and will not leave. In this story you'll only see on 7 News, we're digging into DC law, finding out there's not much that homeowner can do. Our Washington, D.C. reporter Felicia Ashley spoke with the homeowner and tried to speak with the alleged squatter.
The alleged squatter originally got into the home through Airbnb, claiming that her apartment caught fire and it needed time to get repairs. Now that was back in February. Roshane Douglas says she didn't know she was opening her life up to a nightmare when she accepted Shadija Romero's Airbnb reservation almost 10 months ago. That reservation ended March 29th after 32 days, and Romero hasn't paid another dime. But living in the home for over a month apparently lets her claim some form of tenant rights, and she refuses to let Roshane enter the property.
I never gave her any tenancy. I never gave her a lease.
Roshane tried everything, gave her a 30-day notice to vacate, called police, went to court, and even offered Romero $2,500 to sign a paper admitting she's not a tenant and to get out. Romero signed the document but didn't budge.
November the 15th came and she told me, this no longer works for me. Do what you have to do. I'm not leaving. I went to the police with my order and they said there's nothing that they can do, that I need to go to court, which
The audacity of this woman to say she's not leaving. She had the property as an Airbnb, but she probably had intentions on trying to stay in and use the squatter's rights just so she can stay without payment and, become a troubled tenant as she did.
I've done, and I do not have a court date until December the 11th.
Roshane put this sign up on her home so police and neighbors would know Romero was not authorized to be there. A sign Romero covered with a sheet.
I need police assistance.
I was there when police helped Roshane cut it down, while Romero hid inside.
It's shocking to me that you would abuse a system like that.
While all this is going on, Romero's social media shows her living her best life on trips and promoting her nonprofit. And Roshane is left paying thousands in attorney fees, the mortgage, and utilities for a home she can't even enter. I tried to get some answers from Romero, who was clearly inside the home, but she never came to the door. When a person walked out to her car, they didn't want to talk to us either. Roshane is waiting now for her court date next week, where she's hoping the judge's decision will allow U.S. Marshals to force her unwanted guest out once and for all. For now, reporting from Northeast D.C., Felicia Ashley, 7 News.
So this had to be so stressful for the homeowner to not be able to, just get her out when you want her out. It's crazy that people do these things, but anywhere they can find some way or some type of clause where they can abuse things, people will do it. And this is one thing. Airbnbs are very popular, but um, this is definitely a clear sign of taking advantage of the stay. And so, she has to pay all of these bills for the property that she still owns, and she has to take care of and upkeep. But the tenant in the Airbnb uh, renter doesn't want to leave. Like that is the audacity of someone to do that.
Airbnb battle. 7 News has exclusively told you about a homeowner in Northeast D.C. who says a squatter has taken over her short-term rental. But that alleged squatter claims she's a tenant with rights. All new at 6 o'clock. Our Felicia Ashley is learning this isn't the first time the so-called unwanted guest has refused to leave a property.
I found court records revealing that Romero stayed in multiple properties in
So she goes around to multiple properties and abuses the renter's privilege.
and around D.C. rent-free for months while they went through the eviction process.
Court records show at your previous apartment you were also getting evicted for not paying rent. And
So that wasn't for that place, it was for a previous place where something happened during COVID when everyone was not receiving payment. I'm an entrepreneur and I also have a nonprofit.
Court records show Shadija Romero faced eviction from 2 other D.C. properties before booking Roshane Douglas's Airbnb nearly a year ago. I reviewed the records with real estate attorney Rich Bianco.
Scrolling down the docket here, she knows what she's doing. So this isn't the first rodeo.
Court records show that in October 2021, she had a year lease at the Jameson at Dakota Apartments. Those owners also filed a suit against Romero. It shows she stayed months past the end of her lease and did not pay anything between May 2022 and January 2023. She also signed a legal agreement to pay the Jameson $35,000 in back rent, but she did not follow through with that agreement. She was officially evicted 8 months after she stopped paying.
I did not go to court for eviction for Ava Noma.
5 days after she was evicted from the Jameson, records show she moved into Ava Noma. She paid 1 month's rent and owes them nearly $50,000. The property tried to evict her multiple times, but there was a fire, which I confirmed with DC Fire and DMS started in her unit while she was there.
Ava Noma is the one showing that you were in the process of being evicted for paying 1 month's rent when you were there for 13.
So no, that would not be accurate.
Again, court documents show Romero filed a motion to delay the eviction, this time citing the fire and saying insurance needed to see the damage in the unit. She booked the Airbnb as she was getting evicted from that property. I found multiple tenant and landlord cases against her in and around D.C. when she went by a different name at the time. In addition to that, I saw at least a dozen liens against her, as well as a case claiming that she paid for a down payment for a vehicle and made no other payments after that. Now, since these discoveries, Romero has said that she is not speaking to us anymore.
Squatter claims she's a tenant with
So
rights.
Airbnbs have become really popular, but there also has been a lot going on with Airbnbs and the rules and regulations of Airbnbs. It seems that the landlords need to do better checks also, on these tenants that they, take in. They're thinking they're coming to stay for a short stay, and someone like this person, which most people are not doing this, so this probably was just a horrible person to rent to, but overall, most people won't do that. But sometimes you got to look a little deeper with some people, because if you find a headache like this, it's going to be hard to get them out. It's going to be costly and everything else. With this tenant in particular, I think when they did go to court, they ruled that she does not have any rights to the place. She has no tenancy rights, and they sided with the homeowner. So I know that made the homeowner, grateful. Now she could get in and do what she needs to do, and either rent it to someone who is actually going to pay, or just take her property back. So tell me what you think about that, because this could have been anyone's property, and had to deal with a situation like this. And it seems that this is definitely a nightmare Airbnb situation. So let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.